So I first heard about the Dog Pound during the beginning of my spring 2025 semester at Eastern. I had some friends who would go to shows, and as a self-proclaimed lover of live music, I decided I had to make it out to stores to see what was up. I pulled up to a show on Saturday, the 12th of April, and I never really looked back. I found a place where I could enjoy live music, meet people with similar interests, and everyone was accepted as they came, whoever they may be. If I wasn't busy with schoolwork on a Friday or Saturday night, you could catch me at the Dog Pound.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Alexa Udell. I use she, her pronouns, and I was one of the founding members of the Dog Pound, and I'm kind of the person who does a lot of like booking and organizational work for the venue and a lot of day of show stuff as well. And I help like keep the team organized with like what we're all doing and the different dates and stuff.
My name is Deleon. I usually run sound for most of the shows. Also just general musician. I've played at the venue like a few times, across like at least two different bands.
My name is Dion Freeland. I use they, she, he pronouns, and I'm just a day of staff person. Like I help out with any like random tasks that need to be done, whether that's doors, like checking in on people, all of that stuff.
The Dog Pound is a venue that's based in Connecticut. We operate all around the New England region. We're really strongly affiliated with UConn and Eastern just because of being from the top right corner of Connecticut. We host music events. We host like different concerts of all different genres. We kind of mainly do, I feel like, punk and emo music or like pop punk kind of music. But we also do have a lot of DJ nights. We have some rap nights that happen. And we book like all different kind of genres. Taking you back to the beginning, I think that mainly what was missing was that like for a long time there wasn't really like a solid venue that was continuously running shows. When I was, I think like a sophomore or a junior, there were two different venues. It was Funk House and Mud House that were operating, and they were doing shows pretty consistently. After they had to shut down because of people moving or because of like pushback from the town or the neighbors, there wasn't really a consistent venue that was running. Moon Club was doing a lot of different shows, and there were some places that popped up, like Skunk House I know popped up, and like different people kind of had like more like one-off shows, but there wasn't really like a house venue that was operating in this region. So for me, what I thought was missing was just like something that was operating like super consistently. Whereas like before with Mud House and Funk House, there would sometimes be like two shows on the same night, or like there was just kind of always somewhere to be going. And I think for me, the music scene really represented like more of a safe space around in terms of like the socialization around campus, just because I always felt super comfortable like expressing myself there. I felt really comfortable being there. And I think that just the fact that there wasn't a consistent venue that was running was kind of the gap that I was looking to fill with starting the Dog Pound. Like for us, we're really intentional about trying to make sure that we're keeping people out of the space who are known to be like problematic, if that makes any sense, as well as kind of proactively like trying to take care of the people who are around at the house. At a lot of other parties, like you wouldn't really have somebody who's like walking around making sure that things are okay, or like, for example, I've been at parties where someone is like either greening out or like drank too much, and then like literally nobody's helping them, no one's getting them water, like you're kind of just on your own. But we really try to make sure that we're like there for the people that are at the shows, as well as kind of like making sure that we're keeping an eye on things in terms of like if anyone's doing something that's problematic. Like we have a large staff team that like always is able to like come together and kind of go and address any issues that do arise. We don't have them, we don't have issues super often, but when they do arise, like I know we have like a protocol for it. We know like the way of kind of making sure that it can be like addressed and resolved in a way that is like, fair and beneficial for everybody involved. And we really do try to be responsive to people, like, pointing out like, oh, this person's here and this is like a reason that I think they shouldn't be here. We're having this kind of problem. We try our best to really be responsive to stuff like that. There were three founding members. 2 out of 3 of them were like me and Isha are both trans. And I think that I've been really intentional about trying to get like trans and queer people to be really present on the staff and on like the bands that we book and we play. We've always been really visible and like open with the fact that we are like a trans and queer venue. I've really wanted to make it a space where like it is very much in your face that like we are a queer and trans venue. We also try to really platform like femme and female like artists and musicians, because I think for a lot of the genres that we book, there's a gap where like they aren't really platformed as much, or it's not really considered that maybe they're not, or maybe they're just not given as many opportunities as, or are not seen as like the default in a lot of the scenes in music that we book. So we try to be really intentional about platforming like queer, BIPOC, and femme artists. And then in terms of like promoting, I would say like trans safety and like trans rights and stuff like that, I think that it's part of just being like really outspokenly queer and trans, and then also like making that like a part of like the like when you're at shows, there are certain shows that you'll be at, and like I'll get up on the mic or someone else will get up on the mic and talk about current events or issues that are affecting people. We really just encourage people to come as they are. Like there's not really like any type of like dress code or way that you're supposed to be showing up in the space. And I think that we've tried to make that kind of space here as well, where people are able to like express themselves and dress however they want, like kind of regardless of where they're at in their gender identity exploration. Me personally, like I have been told numerous times by people like on a one-to-one basis where they'll pull me aside and be like, hey, like I just wanted to say like I didn't know any other trans people before this. Like I wasn't really sure, like I wasn't as comfortable with trans people before like I was at the Dog Pound or before I was like hanging out with you and like met you and got to know you. I think that I'm like a really big believer in the mere exposure effect, where it's basically like if you're around people like that are, I guess, like a certain kind of way, and you're like sharing space with them, in community with them, you'll become more comfortable with that kind of person. And I think that that's something that we have accomplished through hosting shows here. And I think just like for me, seeing that like there are so many openly queer and trans people that pull up at the shows and are like expressing themselves in their authentic manner, and that they feel safe to do so, to me, I think that's a win in my book. That's what I really wanted to end up seeing. And the fact that I'm seeing that, and you know, that seems like a thing that has been actualized, I feel like I would say that we've accomplished the goal of making, I'd say, like the broader community more like amenable to trans and queer people, and then also like, you know, using our platform to like really push those messages and be uncompromising in the fact that like we are a queer and trans venue, and that like if you're going to be pulling up at shows, you cannot be like behaving in a way that's like contrary to those ideals.
Yeah, no, it does get pretty hectic for the more packed shows. I think our most packed show was Emo Night, if I'm correct.
The first emo night, I had so much fun. First of all, I'm sure you've seen the pictures from the first emo night already.
I've been to the Dog Pound a couple times before that, but it was my first time going by myself. And I didn't think that I was gonna do very good socially if I was by myself and I wasn't with any of my friends. But again, everybody there was just so sweet. Everybody there was just so nice, so welcoming. The music was good. The bands were fucking awesome. And like, yeah, I like ran into some people that I knew there. Like, I'm pretty sure I ran into like you and like 2 other people. So yeah, it was just a really lit night for me, I think.
Like, I kind of discovered like moshing there, which is fucking awesome, you know?
But people kind of avoid me in the mosh pit, but I'm in the pit to mosh with you. So it's like, you can hit me. I'm in the pit to mosh with you. Like, I've been moshing since I was like 14 with like grown, like 6 foot, 200-pound men. Like, you're not gonna hurt me. Cause like, I'm here to mosh. I'm here, like, I feel like moshing is like such a central part of like the punk community. Cause it's like, I don't know, we're all running around, we're all hitting each other, but we're gonna pull each other back up. And I feel like that like really like demonstrates like the punk like spirit. Like, we're all in this together. If we accidentally push you down, we're gonna pick you back up. Cause that's like what the community's supposed to be about.
I've met so many people here, and it sucks 'cause I never remember the names at the end of the night. But you know, the more frequent they attend, the more acquainted I get with them and whatnot. I know a lot of people because of just being around a venue, to be honest.
So me and Davon met like a while back during my freshman year at another like, you know, college hangout bar type spot, because we were wearing the same shirt, and then we just talked over Instagram for like a year, and we were always like, yo, we gotta chill sometime, we gotta hang out, you know, you're a cool guy. And then like a year later, we both went to the same Dog Pound show, and we finally met in person again, and then ever since then we've been seeing each other all the time. So I think that's a great example of the Dog Pound bringing people together, you know, that we didn't even expect. So I think that's a great story as well.
Yeah, of course, bro. It was really good beating you.
There was just a string of weekends where we were like having so many people come to the shows. And like, to me, having a large attendance was a big part of like feeling like we had accomplished our mission. So last year when we had that string of shows that was all having like this really large attendance, I was like, wow, this is like so different. I really feel like we've accomplished what we were setting out to accomplish. I feel like so much more legitimate now that we are having all these people come through the venue. So that was kind of like the first like realization of like, wow, this is like really progressing and growing. I think that this semester too, the fall 2025 semester, we've had some like really, really big shows, and kind of like once those really large shows started happening, like I don't think we ever really like went back from having those really large shows. Like we keep attendance records and like, you know, other records for the venue, and like numerically, objectively, like we have grown so much larger than we were last year. And it was kind of like after the emo night show and the Ruby Leftstep show this semester that I was like, wow, okay, we are like so much bigger than what we were before. And then also just like, I don't know, for me it was really emotional, like walking around in the crowd and like seeing all the people, like, because when you're in a crowd, you're kind of moving as like one unit in kind of a way, and everyone's like in community with one another, especially if you're like actually watching the music and like, you know, involved in the music that's happening. And to me, that those were kind of really pivotal moments, was like spring, like first few weeks of spring last year, and then like these particular shows of this semester, where I was like, wow, okay, we have grown to such a large extent, and the shows are going well, and there's so many people here. And I just was thinking to myself, I'm like, dang, this is like more than I ever could have hoped for with this venue. And like, I don't know, that was when I was thinking that I'd really like, we had accomplished the goal that we had set out to do.
Well, stores would be shit out of music venues. That is for sure. Um, I guess I would just, I guess the greater CT scene would just generally suffer another lack of a venue, and we'd be even further into venue droughts. In all honesty, you know, if the event were to occur that Dog Pound stops operating entirely, I would hope that would at least spur other people to get more into booking, get more into hosting shows out of their own places.
I think that would lose like an important safe space in like the Yukon area. Like I feel like a lot of the frats, like they're not like super safe. Like I know like people have been like roofied at like frats, and like I don't know, like I feel like there's just not really like a good space for like younger people who aren't of age to go to the bars, or even like queer people who are of age to go to the bars, like where they feel safe to like go out and really just like have fun. Like they can't really, there's not really any spaces like that like in the area, I would say.
They'll lose a lot of friendships. I think they would lose exposure because like any like DIY venue runs into the problem of like space, noise. Like if you're gonna host like a concert at in your own backyard, you gotta worry about your neighbors, and like having that many people nearby, it's gonna be loud. So I think it would lose. The impact on the community would be that like people can't go to a single place and like mingle.
I think that the community would lose, like, they would just lose so much connection to one another if the dog pound were to shut down, because it's just a central spot for everybody to talk to each other, to get to know each other.
We're gonna have nowhere to go.
Is there like a specific moment or show or time that you remember being at the Dog Pound that has stuck with you, or really made the space and the people in the space mean something to you?
First event I ever went to at Dog Pound, it was a DJ night early in February, I think it was, or April-ish. My friend Gabby, she's a DJ Meow, I'm pretty sure, and she was performing there. I wanted to go. I didn't know where it was though. I'd heard about the dog pound before, but it never showed up. And I went there, and I remember looking around and seeing the people, and I was just like, wow, but this is actually really cool. There's a fire pit in the back. People are chatting. Everyone's chilling out in the house. Everyone looks cool. I was just like, oh, this is kind of clutch. And I remember after that, I was like, well, now I know where this place is. Cover wasn't too crazy, and I'm having fun. So I think I'll return.
I remember specifically, Alexa was talking about like the spring shows earlier. Spring 25. NPC played a gig. I think it was January 25th. I think it might have been 24th. I can't remember. But that was like the first crowd that we played to where it was packed out. Like these, we had like crowd members like standing literally like five, like not like a few feet away from my face. I could probably like lean forward and kiss them if I wanted to. But that was really nice because that was our first time playing to a really big crowd. And what's even better is that like the entire crowd was like digging the set too. So that's something I really that's probably honestly like one of my favorite gigs that I have played like ever, to be honest. Get active. Be very aware of what's going on in the country at any given moment. You know, I remember there was a time where in my mind politics was boring, and unfortunately I don't have that luxury anymore. You know, when it has a lot of human lives at stake at this point. Another thing, also get active again. Get active in your communities, you know, stay in touch with your venues. You know, if you're into music and whatnot, you know, show up to shows, support your artists. Maybe start your own band. Maybe start your own venue. That would be really nice if we had more venues going around. We could use that. I don't know. Enjoy the music and respect people.
I feel like my only message is like get active, help the people in your community. Really, at the end of the day, it's you and the people around you. And if you take care of them, they're going to be sure to take care of you. So I feel like that's all I really have to say. Like, take care of each other. It takes a village, but you have to be the village.